G'day guys, I'm just doing a quick tutorial in Unity on getting your models that you've made for your mods working in game so they're visible and interactable, or however you want to set them up. So the first thing you need is a fresh scene inside of Unity. You need your player model and any other textures that you're going to have to go with it. An important thing to remember is you are going to need your CS file on handy. Just so you can make sure that all your naming and everything is correct and corresponds exactly as it does in your CS file that you created. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my model and drag it up into the hierarchy. Now some models don't come in two pieces like this one does, and some may just literally be the actual object itself. It depends on how you built it, what you've built it in, whether you've used Blender or another program. So we're going to unpack our prefab, and the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to rename. This name is very important. This is where your CS file will come in handy. So you open up the CS file that you created for your object, and you want to get this one right here. So this is a large mortared stone arch object, and that's the exact name that I need because that's the model reference that the CS file is going to look for as well. So we'll just go ahead and rename that. You just copy and paste so you know you've got everything spelled correctly. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a component to this. The component we're going to add to this is the world object component. Now this is going to add a few scripts. This just makes sure that your model acts as a world object and displays correctly. The next thing you can do, you can just simply apply your textures to your model just by dragging them onto the screen. Now, what I just changed with my textures is the shader type. So when you've done your textures and stuff for your model, you need to make sure that the shader type is curved and standard. The reason you want to do this is because if you don't have it set to curved standard, when you are in game, and if the further you move away from your object, the more it's going to float into the air because the textures don't actually curve with the eco world. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on our actual model. This will give you your mesh renderer, which will have all your details on your materials, the textures that you've used and placed on top of your model. And we're going to add a component. We're going to add a mesh collider. The mesh collider pretty much just detects all the visible meshes. I should turn this back to standard so you can see what I'm talking about. So the mesh collider is going to detect all of these meshes. If there's a gap in the middle, it won't detect any meshes in there and will allow you to pass through. The mesh collider stops you from being able to walk straight through any of the model pieces that you have if it's not intended to do. The convex option right here puts an invisible block all the way around your object. So if the object is not meant to be passed through at all in any point of the object, you can use the convex option and it will stop anybody from being able to walk through any part of your model. But seeing as this is an option I want people to go through, it's not an option I'm going to need. Now we're almost finished. The next step is to click on your arch object that you made earlier, and you would want to tick this box so you can hide it. So once your object is hidden in your Unity scene, you want to make sure that your actual model isn't hidden. So basically this is just hiding the visual from Unity, but if you hide this, you won't be able to see your model in game. So the last two steps, you are going to want to save your scene. You can use Ctrl+S to just save it. You're going to make sure you have the Eco Mod Kit installed in your Unity. I can put up a video on this later on how to do that if you don't have that done. But if you don't have the Eco Mod Kit installed, then you won't be able to build your Unity files for use inside of the Eco game. So just go ahead and build your current bundle, and then you just call it whatever you want. So we're just going to use demo for the time being, and click save. And it doesn't matter if you overwrite previous files. However, if you have deleted an object that you've made or added into the hierarchy that is still in the game, it will lose its model. So you need to make sure that all your naming is correct and accurate. So once that's done, you're pretty well finished. If you have this on a live server and there was an issue with your textures and you just wanted to change your textures, so we'll unhide our model so you can see. Say you didn't like how it looks this way, you can change the textures willingly. Make sure you save your scene after changing textures so they apply. Rebuild and overwrite. Now this does not matter if your server is running. And there's a really handy feature that Eco has added in. On your server UI, if you have that available to you, you can click on ModKit and refresh mod Unity data. This will refresh all the data that the server has stored for the Unity files that you've added in, and once you've done that, all you need to do is relog back into the server without having to restart the server at all. You relog back into the server and you will download the new changes. For other dedicated hosting services, you might have to restart your server for the new changes to actually take effect. In the next video, I will show you how to add icons and stuff to your object that you've created to display in-game so it doesn't use a grayed out cog symbol. Thanks guys.